yo, why why are you even falling for the whole thing in the first place? You see what I mean? That's a whole nother level right there, because that's the whole battle of the sexes. But nobody had a bigger battle than the gods of Kemet. Nobody had a bigger battle. The only battle that sufficed in the Bible was the simple fact that like a lot of the women ended up becoming royalty. You see what I mean? And a lot of there was a time in Jeremiah. I remember Jeremiah 44. I just read that shit. Like they was throwing incense to a set or whatever. But they made vows. You see what I mean? A lot of times, you had Deborah, but she was just a judge. She wasn't exactly a queen. They didn't really have a queen. You know what I mean? But they had Miriam, and there was always these really humble levels for the woman. Now, the woman never really has like the greatest part in there. And the whole thing with Mary Magdalene is that was one of the, I bet you that was one of the things she was praying. You see what I mean? And like, that's what I see. I see that it's obvious. It's pretty much obvious. And that's if you believe. If you don't believe, you could always say that Mary is supposedly the holder of all that power because she's the mother of Jesus or whatever. She helped birth. She's you know what I mean? There's so many different technicalities you could go from that. And everybody wants to say, that's impossible. You can't have a child. You can't have a child without somebody fucking you. They always say that. And, you gotta let them go. You gotta let them go. You gotta let them, be all scientific and shit. They don't want to believe in shit that can happen because it can happen. The phenomenon is possible. I don't care what the fuck somebody says. I think you can have a motherfucking baby without fucking somebody. Call me crazy. Alright? Call me whatever the fuck you want. I think this shit is possible. Okay? If you think it's impossible, that means you're stuck on the whole. Your mind is limited. Your mind is that's the thing with faith that people don't get. It stretches your mind so you know that there's different rules that can be broken if you believe in the right God. You see what I mean? If you worship in the right God. If you know there's a possibility that you can move something in the room. There's atheists that try to do this shit. You see what I mean? And sometimes they manage to do it and they think they all that, but that's all they could fucking do. Then there's people that find themselves selling their soul to the devil to get a certain amount of power. And when they use up all that power, the soul is now Satan's or whatever the case may be. They take up that, like, the whole selling your soul to the devil thing. When they do it, and the soul, the way the contract works, your soul is only taken if you get what the fuck you was asking for. And then you got the Yahweh name, your way. You know what I mean? Your way. It's your way. You know what I mean? It's not my way, but it's your way. You see what I mean? Like, there's different ways to mess with that, but I don't fuck with that. I just call him the Lord God, and he's a God of blessing too. Nobody ever had that one. Like, go ahead, look it up, look at all through your Kemetic text, see if you find a God of blessing. You can't find one. The closest one to it is I said, and that's why she's badass. And a lot of times, like, the women, like, loved her from all nations. You see what I mean? From all nations, even reaching into India. I think she wasn't there? Bet you she was. But it's like, why do you have to worship anything? You're free. You're free to worship whatever the fuck you want. Doesn't matter what anybody else is worshiping. Alright, so, cool. So you might want to save some souls? Cool. I'm gonna do the same. You know what I mean? Save them from what? Damn, that's a good question. I can't save nobody. You're right. You're only, what are you saved from? The problem is gone. something you should keep in mind. So, with that said, I'll bounce. Have a good evening.